how do you pick the right halal online money making skill? Like, how do you know, like, where do you know where to start? How do you know how to get that skill in the right way and making sure you're not wasting time and earning no money, right? This is kind of the things we need to dive into. I know a lot of Muslims out there are very confused, so hopefully whatever I'm going to say today is going to make you less confused. We know already that most Muslims waste months, if not years, learning basically everything and earning nothing. You know, they scroll through whatever TikTok or whatever social media you use, you see all these people making so much money. And you're like, hey, you get this FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. Like, I gotta jump on that boat. Oh, then I see another boat I need to jump on. Oh, there's a shiny boat. Like, oh, there's a, and jump around. You got copywriting, you got drop shipping, Amazon FBA, editing, coaching, design, affiliate marketing. It goes on, right? And you download every freebie there. It's free guide, free this. You watch every course. You even try something, right? For a few days. But then you notice, hey, my account, it doesn't move. Nothing's happening. I'm not earning anything. And obviously, especially with the mindset that you want to make hijrah, like obviously if your bank account is zero, nothing's going to happen. And the hijrah is going to get further away. There's an issue here. There's a problem. And the problem is not these things, because all of these things are going to make you money. People are made, like, if they didn't make you money, they wouldn't exist. That's just how the world works. If there's something that's not going to make you money, it's not going to be popular. It's not going to be a trendy thing. So here's the truth. If it's not these skills that are the issue, the problem here, or the truth here, is you don't need 10 skills. You don't need to learn everything. You just need one leverage skill. One skill that you can leverage, you can earn online, and it aligns with your values as a Muslim, so nothing haram, and it works long term. It's not like, a temporary trend, like the, NFTs, right? And it's something you can eat. Like, the best part, or the best thing would be if you can stack it with other skills, right? And when, like, looking at inside our community, what we do, we kind of break it down in a very simple way. So we teach that every halal income falls into one or three buckets, right? So you got selling, you got servicing or serving, and scaling, okay? So selling, skills that get people to say yes, get people to notice you and say yes, right? Especially now the way it works, usually you can separate these into like generating leads and converting them, but let's just put it into one bucket to make it easy. So, sending DMs, closing on sales calls or DMs, cold outreach, copywriting, creating content to generate leads, and converting them as well, right? There's so many things under this, but let's just go through each bucket. So that's bucket number one, selling. Bucket number two is servicing or serving. Skills that you get paid when you deliver a result, right? So it can be like creative editing. You help a creator to edit his or her videos. You got marketing. So you got a bunch of different ways to market things. You maybe help people with creating lead magnets or stuff like that. You got coaching. That's something I do. Fitness coaching, for example. You got design, development work, back ends, front end, creating apps, website, services, right? So if the first skill, selling, is to make people notice you and say yes, right? Servicing is skills that you get paid to deliver a result to someone, right? And then scaling, skills that you get paid to multiply reach or revenue, for example, for yourself or someone else. So you get ads, you got funnel, funnel hacking, funnel creation, creating systems, hiring, delegation, automation, stuff like that. Skills that multiply reach, multiply revenue. So if let's say you go to organic creators, you're like, hey, bro, your organic, what's it called, content, you're killing it. But you know what would be cool? Or maybe you ask a question, do you like what's your audience split? Do you get qualified leads? Like the problem with organic marketing, you cannot really decide exactly who to reach. It's like you just throw things at a wall, hoping that it will stick, which is nothing bad, right? Then you can use messaging to kind of target people, but then you can use retargeting ads, right? Or to target specific type of people in their audience. Organic creators, if they're not utilizing this, amazing opportunity, right? But maybe they don't know. Maybe you know, right? Or maybe you can learn it so that you know and help them. And suddenly you have a high leverage online skill. Now, if you're starting, I would say it's better to ignore scaling. Like this last one, it's kind of complicated and you can start with it. I don't care, like do whatever. But I would say if you're starting, start with selling or serving, right? Because these skills are incredibly stackable. If you learn how to sell, just selling, right? I don't care if it's DM or whatever. There are a lot of things, like a lot of skills you can stack on top of that. Like imagine you can learn how to sell and you learn psychology. Suddenly you can sell basically anything to anyone. So if you want to get into like, I want to scale this creator's whatever with ads, you got to sell that to him, right? And I've seen this happen. Like I get DMs a lot from people that they have a skill, but they have no idea how to sell it, right? And it's like, bro, you need to learn to talk the talk, right? And then you can walk the walk, right? Otherwise, you're gonna be no one in the midst of all that noise. People sending DMs. Like you need to know how to stand out. You need to know how to differentiate yourself from the crowd. Now, let me give you a filter that you can run any skill through, right? So when you're picking your skill, run through this filter. First of all, can you start with zero capital? If yes, that's better, right? Number two is, because when you start with zero capital, you force yourself to be creative. But if you have a bunch of money, you're gonna burn it without knowing why you're burning it and making poor decisions. So start zero capital. Number two, is it halal? Obviously, it doesn't involve lies, riba, or haram products. This one should be first, by the way. But yeah, can it earn me $2,000 a month, $5,000 a month, remotely within 90 days of focus? So like you don't want a skill that takes forever. Otherwise it would be hard. You could, but again, it can be hard to motivate yourself throughout the journey. Does it work with my language? Right, really, really important. Oh, now you get, never mind. Does it work with my language? Arabic, English, Urdu, etc. and culture. And I want to be very honest here. If you have an accent, depending on what accent, you need to pick a skill wisely, right? Because unfortunately, in the world we live in, certain accents, they are associated with certain behaviors. Just the way it is, right? Let me just put it out there. But, for example, if you have an Indian accent, people are going, because of the internet, people are assuming either you're an IT guy or a scammer, right? You can work your accent away. Like I'm from Sweden, we have a very thick accent. Maybe you heard it come through sometime, some moments in this video. But I've been working hard to remove that accent. You can do it too, and you don't have to remove it completely. It's fine to have a little bit of like a little man, a little stain, a little spark of your accent, but you don't want it to be so thick. So, and this is just the way it works. And if you do, this is what I would recommend. Let's say you have a very thick accent and people are gonna make negative assumptions and associations. What you want to do, start with DM, start with writing. Like you can earn a lot with just writing, maybe even more, right? Email marketing, DMs, copywriting. And at the same time, start building up or start fixing your accent. Get someone to help you, or find videos on YouTube. There are always ways to fix it, right? So, and maybe, if you can use that like the language, and go into a market that maybe is under leverage, you can use that because no one speaks the language. You can learn a skill, a very high value skill, and use that in your market, right? And obviously, lastly, is there a demand from Muslims or Western clients? Now, nothing wrong with having non-Muslim clients, right? But there needs to be a demand, right? It shouldn't be a hobby. A hobby is something that you like to do but doesn't pay you, right? So if your answer is yes to most of them, at least the most important ones, start now. Pick that skill. Don't waste 6 months researching. Spend 6 months executing on one skill. Like, pick that one skill, whatever it is, and execute it. And I don't mean just looking and researching. Do it. Practice it. If you want to learn how to ride a bike, you don't watch videos. You go on your bike and ride it. And you're going to hit your head, your knees, and everything, right? You're going to be very bruisey. But that's the part of the journey, right? Again, I always recommend everyone start with selling. That's an incredibly stackable skill. It's that core skill that naturally translates into other skills. Because if you have to work with other humans, or you need to work with other humans, you need to know how to sell, because selling is just a way of communicating something, right? But point is, you have to pick one, dedicate the next 5 years on that skill. Yes, 5 years. Dedicate. Become really good at it. At least 4 hours a day doing the skill. Not reading about it, not watching about it, do it. And this is because real hijrah is not just about moving to another country. It's about moving towards independence and having the skills you need. No matter what happens, you can lose everything and you still have the skill to get it back. And that only comes with skill. It doesn't come with scrolling. It doesn't come with waiting for the right time. It doesn't come with saving a bunch of money and living off your savings. It comes with skill. And if you're ready to make a move, literally, join a free community. You can find the link down below, and you're gonna get a bunch of tools to get started today, working on the skills you need, and mapping out the perfect way, or the best way, not perfect maybe, but the best way to make hijrah from where you are, especially if you live in the West, and you wanna get started, you wanna leave, you wanna break free. That's about it. That's all I have for this video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Assalamu alaikum.